James Randi is about to do the matchbox trick. Check this out. This dude's awesome.
Now you are looking at me and saying, oh boy, these people pretty dense, eh? No, they're people just like you and me, except they don't really understand how the real world works. You guys understand much more, and I hope I do too, about how the real world works. You don't know how it works, but you understand more about how it works and how it can be made to work better. But I'm sure you're familiar with Lawrence Livermore Labs, not too far from here.
I'm not, but okay.
Lawrence Livermore Labs has a bunch of physicists, all PhDs, I'm sure, working there. And I got a call from one of them a couple of years back. Said, oh boy, you're $1 million prize. It's won, gone, that's it.
Yeah, if you don't know what's going on or who this is, he has $1 million prize that he offers to anybody that can fool him, can show him a magic trick without him figuring out how it works or whatever. And the idea is psychics and dowsers and whatever other things from around the world all come in believing that they're going to be able to get $1 million out of him. And they don't. They fail every single time because he always debunks it. Like I did a video on this not too long ago where the dude was on a show and some guy comes in and says he can move the pages of a phone book with his mind. And he's very obviously blowing on the pages, right? So Randy sprinkles some styrofoam like pieces around the phone book, and suddenly his psychic powers don't work anymore. He famously, I believe it was Randy, who destroyed Uri Geller's career completely. Because Uri Geller was claiming he really had the power to bend spoons with his mind, actually, for real. And Randy proved him wrong, like live on air on the Johnny Carson show is a big deal. Again, I covered that in the last episode I did on this guy too, but let's see what he has to say here. He's saying that some people claim that they're going to win his $1 million prize, okay?
Say goodbye to it. Said, I'll come. Well, a physicist from Israel came over here and brought with him a fellow named Ronnie Marcus. Ronnie Marcus was doing the Uri Geller Act, bending spoons and reading the contents of sealed envelopes and good stuff like this, all stuff which has been in the magician's repertoire for generations now. And they said, we put him through a test, and he passed. He's the real thing, all right. This is what fooled him at Lawrence Livermore Labs. He asked them to get him a box of matches, just a box of, this hasn't got many matches left in it, 5 or 6 matches. Ordinary box of matches, and of course, being scientists, they examined it with laser beams, scanned it in infrared and ultraviolet, weighed it to the millionth of a gram, way, way down there, examined each one of the matches very carefully, photographed it, polarized light, the whole thing. Everything you can imagine. Complete analysis. Made sure there were no threads, wires, magnets, nothing unusual about it. Came from Morton's Steakhouse. They got it themselves from Morton's Steakhouse. This isn't the original box. That's a sacred element. They probably got it in a glass case with an arrow.
Okay.
And they gave it to Ronnie Marcus, and he said, well, this is a proof of what we call in the trade psychokinesis. And this is what he did. Wait. Yeah. Enough matches. You need a certain number of matches in there. It's not going to work very well. This is what he did. He placed it in the back of his hand like this, and he said to them, oops, he said, watch. The box will actually begin to rise. Look at this. It's rising. It's actually rising in the back of the hand.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
That's cool, right?
And it rose up, and then he said, and then when I relax the psychic power, it sinks back down again.
Dude, I love it.
Now, I don't know how it was done.
That's funny.
But I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, this little parlor trick is in a book called Martin Gardner's Encyclopedia of Impromptu Tricks. And Martin advertised that you can learn to do tricks like this. You don't have to paint your body red and run around naked with a lampshade on your head in order to be an attraction at the next party, you see. This is a lot simpler and cheaper and doesn't get your wife quite as angry at you at all. It's very simple. You simply squeeze some of the skin on the back of your hand into the box as you close the box, and you...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. Fascinating.
Yes, and like this, and it rises straight up like that, and then it goes all the way down again. A miracle of a semi-religious nature. Isn't that wonderful?
The fact is, magic tricks are just tricks, man. Like, Drives me crazy how people actually believe all of this nonsense.
Souvenir for you. There you go. Oh, actually, thank you. Well,
You know, these tricks are fun. They're entertaining, right? Everyone is entertained by this shit. You don't need to lie and claim that you have supernatural powers like Uri Geller, or more importantly, like Benny Hinn, right? Like televangelists like Peter Popov. These people are legitimately, genuinely claiming to have supernatural power from like the beyond or whatever and they're convincing people to give them money for it. You can get money for being entertaining. You don't have to get money from people by lying.
that fooled him at Lawrence Livermore. Oh, not all of them, no. A few of them were taken in, but the rest of them said they just didn't care much. But they should care.
For more of James Randi.
Wow, that was really interesting, dude. James Randi is awesome. I love this dude to death. Check out this clip from Big Think. He died a while back, but he's a super fascinating guy.
You say you can speak to dead people. I've got a whole load of questions I would like to ask certain dead people, answers to which I already have. And the dead people, since they're dead, I don't believe they've got the answers any longer. But if you want to call them up and ask them the questions and come up with the right answer, hey, you could win the $1 million. Many people say they can read minds, they can predict the future, they can interpret dreams and such. Well, it all depends on the specific claim they make. All they have to do is say what they can do, under what circumstances, with what accuracy. And some people have taken literally years. One fella, a PhD in California, took 4.5 years to answer those 3 questions. And finally, when we got ready to enter into tests with him of remote viewing, as he called it, and he actually gave courses in this at the university in California, he suddenly changed his email address and his telephone number. We haven't been able to reach him since. Isn't that strange? I guess he doesn't need the $1 million.
Yeah, people are always claiming they're capable of doing some supernatural stuff. Like, just be honest about it, really. What has been the most difficult paranormal claim for the James Randi Foundation to disprove?
I'd like to say that there has been one particular difficult one, but no, they've all been so easy. They've been so easy because they're so transparent. I've been in this business for a long, long time, and I've seen everything. Recently, I got a nice contract to go to South Korea and do a TV series, which I did there, testing South Korean psychics, so-called. And they told me before I left, they said, oh, Mr. Randi, you've signed the contract now, so I guess we should tell you, we've got psychics in South Korea that you've never seen before.
Okay.
And I went off there with my assistant, and we looked at them and turned to one another and said, wait a minute, this is the same thing that's been going on since the 1600s. It's in all the books. It's exactly the same thing. They're serving kimchi at lunch and instead of macaroni or whatever, but in any different culture, in any different, the costume is different, the language is different, but the same stunts are being done again and again and again. They haven't invented anything new since the early 1600s.
He's such an impressive person, honestly. Do you believe supernatural thinking is ingrained in human cognition? I think so, absolutely. We definitely evolved to believe that there is something watching us in the bushes for the purpose of surviving, for escaping and not being eaten, by a predator animal or whatever. It was evolutionarily advantageous to believe that something was watching. And for that reason, I think that we most definitely did evolve to detect something that's not there.
Well, you'd have to ask a psychologist and perhaps a few psychiatrists that question, because technically I can't answer that question. But I will tell you, I suspect strongly that people need to have some more romance in their lives. After all, look at the average kid who is male or female who is raised by his parents to believe that he or she will have children, and you'll have a wife or a husband, and they'll be absolutely ideal people, and everything will go. You'll be a doctor or a lawyer, you'll be very wealthy, have a beautiful home. It doesn't work out that way all the time. In fact, it seldom works out that way. And so they look around and say, what have I done wrong? And if somebody runs an ad on television saying, oh, I can solve your problems, I can give you guidance to the future.
Like Benny Hinn, like famous televangelist scumbags, Kenneth Copeland and others, right?
to look into the crystal ball or read the tarot cards or whatever, they may tend to fall for that sort of thing because they say they wouldn't say that if it weren't true. Oh, yes, they would. And there's a huge profit margin in this. So people do fall for these things very, very easily.
You know, like, we take some things for granted, though. We take the idea that racism is deeply ingrained in our psyche. We take that for granted. That's not the case. You don't have any bigotry against people with black hair versus blonde hair. Racism is created and stoked by people that want something. It's not inherent necessarily. I'm pretty sure that we evolved to believe something was on the other side there, something watching, even though there may not be. But people most definitely get tricked into it when they wouldn't otherwise be susceptible to it. Yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Fascinating.